Welcome back, everybody, to the Daily Reset Podcast. That's right, we chose a name. I am, of course, Mysidia Gaming, and I'm joined by Rev from Gateway of the Six. How you doing, Rev?
I'm doing excellent. Very excited to talk about today's topic, and happy to be joined by you.
Awesome. Yeah, so today we're going to talk about just stopping playing gacha games, burning out from playing gacha games or specific games, and kind of like how it happens, how you can prevent it, how you can take care of yourself, that kind of thing. So I guess, we usually do a quick update on ourselves and the games that we're playing. There isn't really anything new for me. So I'm playing two accounts on War of the Visions, and that's actually it right now. I'm literally not playing any other games. I have games installed, but I'm not playing anything else. And I'm having a hard time keeping up with two War of the Visions accounts. So more on that later. But Rev, how about you? How's your gacha gaming going?
It's expanding. Taking care of 3 accounts on Epic 7 is really a daunting task, but it's something that I wanted to do for a while. I always said to myself, when I start playing a game and I really enjoy it, if I don't make multiple accounts, am I really enjoying it? So far that's been true. I'm a harsh taskmaster to myself, so there's that.
Excellent. Well, let's quickly talk a little bit about the definitions that we're going to use here. So, of course, at a certain point, you generally beat a game and you'd stop playing it after you beat it, or you've done all the extra content in a game. Well, that's not really how gacha games work. They want you to play forever, or at least until they go out of service. So sometimes it's really hard to keep playing a game, especially if it doesn't change. So what would you describe Burnout as? Like, what's Burnout to you?
I've generalized the term burnout because it happens. I tend to see it happen in anything that I play in, whether it be console games or gacha games. It's that moment when you log in and you start wondering, why am I logging in? Do I really want to keep logging in? Am I done? And then you just close it 5 minutes later. That's what I identify burnout.
Yeah, I totally get that, and I also have experienced that in both gacha games and in especially MMOs for games outside of gacha games. And the best example of that for me is Final Fantasy 14. But to me, it's also when you start thinking about it, you're like, okay, I'm gonna go home and I have to log on so that I can do this thing and my dailies, the Daily Reset podcast. Yeah, the daily resets, all that stuff, and it becomes a chore. It becomes a job that you have to do every day, and you feel bad that you're missing out on efficiency if you don't do a quest. And that feeling when you get there, it's really hard to quit, but at the same time, like, once you let go, man, does it feel good.
Oh yeah, definitely. And I'm glad you brought up 14 because that's actually one of the most recent burnouts that I've had in a major game that I've played for years on end. It got to a point where I would log in, I'd look around, I'd see that I have uncompleted quests, and just be like, yeah, I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
I don't want to do this no more.
Yeah, for me, I played since 1.0. I played A Realm Reborn. I've played every expansion, and things never really changed too much in terms of gameplay. So now I'm kind of in maintenance mode where I log on for the story and for patches, and I play a bit. But I don't know how I'll ever get back to that time where I was playing every single day. Doing literally everything I could, maxing my account. Like, there's no way I'm going to get back there, I think, just because it's just so similar. But let's apply this to gacha games. What's a gacha game that you've burnt out from?
Well, recently there was this game called Exos Heroes. I was enjoying it so much up until a point where it's like I'm only logging into the game for like 5 to 10 minutes just to do the daily stuff and knock out the PvP, and I close it for the rest of the day, and I wouldn't touch it till maybe the next day or the day after. Once I started seeing the patterns of, oh wait, I'm not even logging in every day, and then I log in and it just felt dreadful just to do it, just to get it out of the way and then close it off. So that was my most recent gacha game that I've experienced burnout on.
Yeah, for me, I think, well, right now I'm actually kind of feeling that with my second War of the Visions account. And it's funny because I'm not burnt out at all of my main account. Like, so I'm back at work. I'm a teacher, and things are crazy this year with COVID and all the different systems we have in place. And the start of the year is always crazy for me anyway, with the amount of extracurricular stuff I'm involved in. So I'm still like waking up and I go on my phone and I play my main account, and like at lunch I'll sneak on and like make sure I've maintained some stuff. But with my alt account, I don't log on until after 5 p.m. my time for the first time for the day. And I've already missed so many checkpoints. I have to do all my dailies from the start of the day and start catching up on spending energy. And I'm starting to dread it because it's not something that I can just do, like that start of the day stuff. There's so much of it, and it's like, this is now I'm getting home from work. Like I've been at work from like 7 a.m. till like 5 p.m. and I get home and it's like, oh, I got to do all this stuff on War of the Visions. And I'm like, no, I can't do this. So I'm starting to think I got to set some goals and some limits for my side account, so that I don't end up burning out on the game entirely.
Right, yeah, definitely, especially for a game that you really, really like. That's actually what I'm doing right now, and it segues into one of our talking points is how to manage it, how to manage burnout. So with Epic 7, do you know I have 3 accounts? A lot of the people that watch my channel know that I have 3 accounts, and what I do is I make sure that, for me, since I have 3, I'm balancing my main account. I'm always grinding on that. I'm always getting my resources. My second account is my account that I like every now and then I'll log in. It's always going to be casual. So I have that expert mindset for my main account, whereas my other account is like the super casual version of a player that would go into that game. So super casual, maybe log in 1 or 2 days, not thinking about it in the back of my head, because I'm not trying to be efficient on that account. It's an alt account for a reason. So that's one of the ways that I'm combating that for my main game. Now for any other game, it would depend on how much time you're spending on it, what your resources are being spent on, whether it be money or time, and if it's being used efficiently for yourself, your mental health and all that.
Yeah, so it's so hard to think about applying the same logic to War of the Visions, because there's so much stuff that's like, it's such a grindy game that the one thing about the game is that if you're not doing the things every day, you'll never get anywhere. So it's like you really can't be half in, at least if you want to be relatively able to do the things that are available in the game. Like you have to be doing your hard quests every day, or your units will just never progress. So I'm gonna have to think about that.
So I might you just gave me an idea for a video for Epic 7 as far as like that talking point, because it may seem like it's just, do this and this and you're done. Like there's a lot of grinding in that game.
Yeah.
There is so much grinding in that game, and that's with any gacha game. The biggest thing is knowing what you need to focus on, like the most primary goal you can possibly set for that account, and only focus on that and not think of like the 50 billion other things that you have to do at the same time.
That's a good point. Game. I could just like, even if I logged on for 10 minutes and auto use like skip tickets to just do my 10 hard quests and logged off, that would only take 5 minutes. And then at least I'd know that like one day when I decide to like go hard on the account, there's gonna be some units that will be ready for me. So maybe that's what I have to think about. Maybe I'm not going to be equipping or making like super nice gear and farming the latest event quests and getting all the rainbow shards and stuff. Okay, that helped.
Because remember, your main account is the main for a reason.
Yeah, exactly. Oh yeah, and I'm excited to do everything on my main account every day. I'm like thrilled when I get up in the morning and I have my bowl of cereal, my cup of coffee, and I've got my tablet out, and I'm like, oh, I'm just clicking everything, and it's good.
It's a great morning routine for me. I mean, I do the same thing, especially right now with my daughter at the house. I get up, make her a bowl of cereal, make myself a bowl of cereal, and in the side I have both my phones playing my two different accounts.
Yeah. Nice, nice, nice. So in terms of burnout, what are some other ways that you can, like, so we talked about how, like, once you're starting to feel it, you can kind of treat it a little bit. You can start to prioritize things on your account. How can you even stop it? Like, is it possible to stop anyone from getting to that position in the first place, or is it just eventually going to happen, you think?
No, I think especially in the entertainment business, which gacha games are a part of, they are there to entertain us by having those sprites, having the summoning animations, having the units, the gear, all that's meant to entertain us and keep us busy. So whenever you have something of entertainment, eventually over time it loses value. With Burnout, if you dedicate too much time and you're overdoing it, then the time speeds up faster. So at the end of the day, everyone will experience burnout. It's just at a different frequency. The way that you want to go about it is identifying those points of burnouts, those like little things, like you feel a certain way differently whenever you're doing, like, let's say I'm gonna put in an example for Epic 7. I have to grind Wyvern 13, and I have X amount of stamina to use to grind for Wyvern 13. When I start clicking towards Wyvern 13 and I'm thinking, damn, I kind of just don't want to do that, that's when you have to stop yourself and think, okay, do I need a break? And that right there is when you really feel like the ease of a burnout starting to creep in. With a break is how you alleviate it. If you really like the game and you do not want to like completely drop it, taking a break is advisable. And I'm taking a little, like a quote from Yoshi P's book. You're not supposed to play the game all the time. He said it himself. If you have certain other things that you want to do or take care of, do that. The game will always be there.
Yeah, he's a special case. I don't know who else would say something like that, but I absolutely love it. Just incredible. And how, on a tangent here, how cool is it that Yoshi P is the producer for Final Fantasy 16?
Dude,
oh man, that's the best. Yeah,
I didn't know about it until today. Fumu, actually, I was in a stream and someone made that comment, and I was like, wait a minute, what?
Yeah.
I haven't been paying attention.
And the team that did Heaven's Ward is working on it as well, which is my favorite expansion. And then the combat director from Devil May Cry is the combat guy for 16. So it's a pretty experienced group of people.
And that's why when I was watching the trailer, I was thinking of, man, this kind of reminds me of Heaven's Ward a little bit.
Yeah, I think some of the voice acting and the music and stuff, very, very 14-esque. Okay, but that was indeed a tangent. So coming back to our gacha burnout topic, it's, yeah, like you were saying, it's totally fine to just drop a game, take a break, and come back to it. And if you're really meant to play it, if you really want to play it, you are going to come back to it. I know that there's people in my War of the Visions guild that have done that. They've taken a break, and it's so hard to do sometimes, especially in a game that really encourages something like guild play and guild battles, or some sort of system where like people are going to want to drop you from things if you leave. But it's way better to step away for a bit and then come back, I think.
Yeah, when you start to feel like it's another job, it's you have to step away. You have to step away for a little bit, because then it's no longer there to entertain you, it's there to task you. And we already have a whole bunch of that in our daily life. I mean, if you have kids, you know that that's not an easy burden. If you have 9 to 5, definitely some days you just like, so you don't want a game that when you started the game, it made you feel so good, like, oh, I'm escaping my reality for a little bit. I'm getting what I want out of something that I'm paying little to no money for. That's why I love gacha games, because you don't have to invest any money into it if you don't want to, and that's a free
No.
experience.
And speaking of the 9 to 5 and how, you know, how tough that can be, I literally, we were supposed to record this yesterday, and I just, like, at one point I was so exhausted. I was gonna record with Rev in about like 2.5 hours, and I just sat down on my couch and thought, like, okay, rest for my eyes for a second, fell asleep, woke up at the record time, and I just said, like, there's no way. There's no way I'm recording this right now.
But you know what? It's great that we didn't record yesterday, because my daughter was still awake.
Oh,
and, yeah, that would not have worked anyways.
Okay, so you know what? It's all, the universe has a plan for our podcast. So when you take a break from something, when you take a break from playing a gacha game, what do you fill that time with? And I think it's do you just play another game? Do you play another gacha game?
I'm a cynical bastard at best. Yeah. I like to browse around the like the Play Store and see, you know, what's coming up, what's being released, and I'll go into the Reddit and go into the gacha Reddit, and they'll be like, oh, this game's coming out, or this one has a closed beta. Here's the APK for it, or like they'll give us like hints of where to find the APK, and I'm like, all right, well, let's see what else is out there. You know, kind of like it's a weird not opinion, but like comparison. There you go. Of, if you're not happy in a relationship and you're not, you know, maybe it's an American thing, but here, if someone's not into a relationship, they leave the relationship, hopefully, and they go see what else is new. You know, something that you might be missing. So some people equate it. I know that's how I equate it, and I'll test the waters, and yeah, this game wasn't for me. It's not that. It's not this. Okay, well, then I know what I had was a good thing. I'm gonna go back to that after I felt, you know, refreshed.
That's a good analogy. I love it. You know, and in my experience, once you've left the relationship, it's real hard getting back in. So luckily, gacha games are always going to take you back. Unless they shut down, they're always going to take you back. They're just forgiving.
Linux Lord.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and I would go back to Final Fantasy Mobius in a heartbeat. I mean, we've already talked about that once, I think. But man, yeah, I would play that game.
I don't think we did talk about Mobius. I think we talked about Exvius.
Oh, okay, yeah. I mean, well, here's the thing. I played Mobius. It was my first ever gacha game, and I played it on and off. And then near the end of its life, I played it very much on. That's when I actually really started learning what a gacha game is and like how they work. And I just wish I had a swing at it when I knew what gacha games were and like how to play them and how to get good, because it was like when you're a kid and you're playing like a Final Fantasy game, and then now when you go play the same game, you're like, oh, it's way easier.
Yeah.
It's way
yeah.
Or like you pick up on way more. Yeah.
Actually, with Epic 7, I think I mentioned this before. A couple months, like I think it was about a year or so before I started playing again. I had played the game and left it because I didn't like it, or I don't know, something didn't click with me. Like I felt I was playing some other gacha game, and my influence from those kind of like seeped in, and so it kind of took me out of the experience. But then coming back to it, I was like, wait a minute, I know what I'm doing. I know what a gacha game is supposed to feel like, and
yeah,
here it is. So I get that sentiment.
Yeah, and that's I think that's advice that applies to like a bunch of episodes that we're going to do again, and it applies to Burnout as well, is expectations. What do you know? What do you expect?
Comment section, is that a confirmed more episodes?
Oh yeah, we're going to do this for at least
at least a while.
No less than 1,000 episodes, but no more than 1 million, you know.
We'll evolve and get there someday.
Yeah. Yeah.
Definitely. The one of the last things I wanted to talk about burnout, and this is very, very important, especially for people who are starting to feel discouraged. You can't always be the best. Any game that you play, you can't always try to shoot for the top and expect to be there just by, you know, some miracle of a reason. Someone's always gonna be outpacing you by a couple hours spent on the game or extra dollars sometimes in different games. But eventually, when you settle on the fact that you're not always gonna be the very best, like no one ever was, then you start to feel a little bit less pressured to not fall into burnout, because that I think I ended up hitting burnout on a different game. I think Exos kind of felt like it, but it was for a different reason. But it was a different gacha game. I forgot what it was, but I felt like I couldn't do anything because I wasn't strong, or I wasn't doing this or that and the other. And I was in a mindset of like, I have to do this, I have to be the best, because that's how I'm always conditioned to be in sports and MMA. I'm always competitive. Like, that's my nature. I'm competitive as they come. And so once I started to feel it, playing different gacha games, like, hey, I'm not going to be the best, then burnout started coming in a lot slower than before.
Yes, yeah, I totally get that. I think I think that definitely affects people when they have really, really, really high expectations. And I mean, that's the hardest thing to like set your own definition for success. But that's like just an incredible life lesson to know what is success and what you can celebrate. And it's often, not as high as you might put it. It's something that's, attainable and that's there, and you can celebrate it.
Someone asked me like a couple years ago, like when I was in not a couple years ago, it's almost a decade now, but when I was in high school, someone had asked me that age-old question, like, is this glass half empty or half full? Back then, I didn't know how to really like analyze it, because it's always the opinion of one's person what the answer is, right?
Yeah.
But I finally came into the realization for myself, is like, it's not half empty, it's not half full. At least it has water in it. At least it has water. Hey, it can be half empty, half full. At least it has water. I can drink from it. It's all good. And that's my analogy for life. As long as there's something of substance, I can work with it.
Yeah, you know what? And if you're really lucky, that glass might even have like Mountain Dew in it.
There you go. Or McDonald's Sprite.
I don't know if Code Red or something. No big deal. I also encourage people that if you're going to take a break from your main game or from a game or something, try not replacing it at all. With another gacha game. See what else you do with your time. Maybe you go play a console game, or you try out an MMO, or maybe you just start watching more Netflix or something and fill that time with something else, and see if that's fulfilling, or like a good separation, because sometimes you need separation. If you go from one gacha game to the next, you can carry some of that burnout with you. You bring it with you into the next game.
True. Very true. And I know I have done that a couple of times, gone from one gacha to another. But there have been times where I picked up The Witcher. I still haven't completed it, but I picked it up and I played it for hours, like almost 50 hours, which is absolutely nothing. But
it's a big game.
I spent time on there. I picked up Dark Souls 3, which is the first Dark Souls experience I ever had. So that was a new experience for me, and it helped me get over my burnout for Final Fantasy 14. Definitely branching out to different entertainment mediums definitely helps out. Going out to concerts, hanging out with friends, bars if you're into that, anything that fills your brain with serotonin or dopamine. That's dopamine, right? Anything that fills your head with dopamine, it'll help you get over that burnout, maybe, hopefully, if you really like the game.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm kind of out of stuff to say about burnout. I mean, It's definitely happened to me in different games. But now I think I'm going to be able to comment, like, next time we record, I'm going to be able to say, hey, here's my update on my alt account for War of the Visions. How am I feeling with it? Is it still a pressure every day that I'm feeling, or is it am I enjoying it, or have I dropped it? Maybe that will be something we can take the temperature on a few times.
Yeah, definitely. I'm excited to see and hear the process for that. I think another thing that you could do with the alt account, so it doesn't feel like a chore and you actually, you know, fill it with something gratifying, is remember that new player experience video you came out with? You can maybe do an update to that, or like what the units are doing in your roster. How are you suiting them up? Something very
Yeah.
early game-ish.
Yeah, to be honest, I actually had so many videos queued up for that alt account, and I just have not had time. And it sucks because I missed some now. It's like I wanted to do, like, what's a Word of the Visions account like in 1 week in, 2 weeks in. You know, how hard was it to grind a couple of +5 Nagra Nurox when you just started the game? Like, there's all these videos that I wanted to do and talk about, and I just have not been able to. Oh my goodness, we've lost Rev, and now it's me double camera right now.
There we go. I
Hey.
don't know what happened. It just spazzed out.
Well, you're back now. So, anything else you wanna touch on for today's episode?
No, I think we covered everything. The one of the things I wanted to say as one of my outro things is the burnout sucks. Trust me, I know, because I felt it a lot of times, and it's gonna feel like you're letting go of something that you put too much effort in. But don't think of it like that. Sometimes it's best to just take your hands off for a little while, just to put him back in with, a refreshed mindset. So don't ever feel bad to be losing. Just reach out to your guild members or the people you play with and let them know, hey, I just need to take a little bit of time for myself. And if they're understanding and if they're willing, they'll keep you around, and when you come back, they'll be there with open arms.
Absolutely, and they're like I said, there's a few people like that in our guild and War of the Visions, and when they come back, I'm sure that as soon as we have a spot free, we're gonna add them right back in, and we take them back in a heartbeat. So I totally agree with that. If you find the right community, they're going to be there for you, and you can always stay in touch via Discord, which we have a Discord, by the way. So no big deal.
Good job.
MBD, you can get on there. Yeah, so okay, we're gonna wrap up in a second here, but I wanna quickly shout out Rev, because he's been putting out some content lately, and you guys gotta go check it out. So there's there's some Epic 7 videos, mostly Epic 7, and hopefully at some point, even if it's just for me, a War of the Visions video, but whatever. And you have to see this guy. Like, you have to watch the videos in the order they came out, so you can watch how his editing rapidly improves every single episode, his speaking, his like the music volume, like, just it took me like so many more videos to work stuff out than it took him. It took him like 5 videos to get to like where I am in terms of quality, and it took me like 100. So congrats.
Nah. I wouldn't say I'm there with you on quality. I'm getting there, but I'm not there yet. No, but I will say this. I appreciate everything that Mysidia has done for me as far as like getting my enthusiasm up, because I've always wanted to. I've always wanted to make videos, especially for games that I'm playing and what I feel like. He definitely like put me on. He put me on. He made sure, like, hey, I know you can do this. Go ahead and try it. Trust me. At first, it'll feel like you're not getting anywhere, but every video so far has felt like, I'm getting somewhere. I'm going somewhere. I have a whole bunch of people that come back, enjoy the content that I do, and they enjoy me messing up sometimes, and that's all fine. So you will definitely see progression and improvements. That's one thing I will assure you of. whether the content in the video might not be for you, at least say for the personality. I always engage with everyone that I talk to. I make sure that everyone understands what I'm going with, as far as the video concept. And if you get on Discord, definitely hit me up. I'm always there answering questions, making sure that everyone's good, safe, making sure catching up with people. Hey, what are your plans for this gacha game? There's actually a new game that came out, Idols Fantasy Star Saga, something like that.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna probably try it out, maybe make a video of that. And as far as the War of the Visions video that I wanted to put out for myself and for Mysidia, it was a pull video, but I felt like I think I've made enough pulls for a little while so far. I wanted to get more content out there, PvP and general thoughts, account reviews, and so I'm gonna do that for a little while, and at least get my bearings down first before I take on anything new.
I think that's really smart. I think that I tried to do too much at first. I was all over the place, and when I really settled down into one thing, and like I've got a system now, like I'm always going to get my should you pulls up, and everything else is extra. And if I have time, I'm going to do stuff because I like to do it. But like I have kind of come to an understanding of what I can do and what I can do well, and that's what I'm going to try to do. Now, I do want to say, if there's anybody else out there that's an aspiring content creator, you can talk to both of us, obviously. But like Rev said, like you need that push. It's like going to the gym. If you have a partner, their statistics for you staying at the gym and working out are so much higher when you have a partner. Because people keep you accountable. You're afraid to let down other people. You want to rise to their expectations. But when it's only you that you have to let down, it's easier to say, I'm not going to do it today. I'm not going to do it today. Make an excuse. There's one more thing I have to tweak. There's always something. So it takes a lot of drive. It takes a whole lot of drive.
That gym one hit hard because I've definitely gone to the gym a couple times and just gave up because I didn't have the right mindset going in. Because it's always, you want to do it because you want to do good for yourself, but after a while you're just like, man, I kind of don't. Yeah. And that slump is what gets you. So definitely, if you guys have any questions, any concerns as far as your topics, if you feel like maybe you need help with a title, if you need help with outlining a certain a thing that you want to do for the video, come to our Discord. It's always open for anyone. When you click the link, it's going to be in the description below. When you click the link, it's going to bring you to our rules section. Click the green check mark at the bottom after you're done reading it, and then just hit us up in Mysidia General, or go into the roles section, select the game that you're playing, and come chat with us.
Absolutely. All right. Well, with that said, this has been the Daily Reset podcast, sponsored by Mountain Dew. I'm Mysidia Gaming. And
I'm Getaway to the Sick, aka Rev.
And we'll see you next time.
Later.